It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
All right, good morning. Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're at Caldwell Parish Detention Center. It is Thursday, April 4th, 2024 at 10:52 a.m. And you are, sir, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number. Wait, y'all are on mute. Do you have a staff member in the room with you? Your microphone's on mute. There we go.
My name is Jude Robin, DOC number 714284.
Let me ask the officer in the room with you to identify himself for the record, please.
My name is Sergeant Kennedy.
Okay, Sergeant Kennedy, thank you for accommodating us today.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Mr. Robin, let me read some identifying information into the record, and then we'll start the parole interview process with you. Mr. Prater, seated to my left, will take the lead. Your case has been assigned to him. Before we vote, you'll be allowed to make a statement. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Robin, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 7-year sentence. You were sentenced initially in September of 2016 for indecent behavior with a juvenile. You were afforded probation that was revoked on November 2nd, 2017. Your parole eligibility was January 19, 2020. You don't earn good time, and your full term is September 19th of this year,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay. Would you answer Mr. Prater's question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about getting revoked. What were you revoked for?
I was revoked for hanging out with the wrong crowd. Excuse me. Constant use of marijuana and not obeying the conditions of my parole, my probation. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you've had all of your sex offender training or your whatever you might call that, all of the classes that you need for your phase 1 and phase 2. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I've worked hard at it. I successfully completed it.
Okay.
Also,
All right. And were you on any kind of drugs or alcohol when this offense occurred?
yes, sir. I was currently intoxicated.
Okay. So do you have a substance abuse problem?
Yes, sir. I successfully completed a substance abuse program here at Caldwell Detention Center.
I asked, do you have a problem? Do you have a substance abuse problem?
Oh, no, sir. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you, Mr. Prater.
Okay.
No, sir. I do not have a substance abuse problem.
Well, you were revoked because of substance abuse also, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you committed this offense when you were on some sort of substance, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you don't have a problem.
Not no more, sir.
I thought that in that AA and everything else, they tell you you're always, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You just learn to deal with it. Is that not?
Yes.
So do you have a substance abuse problem?
Yes, sir. I learned to cope with it throughout the class of substance abuse and learn how to deal with it.
That's all.
So, Mr. Robin, what is your sobriety plan?
My sobriety plan is to go out and is to go back to society and complete other meetings if possible.
Wait, what you say? I'm sorry.
Complete other AA meetings if possible, and stay away from the alcoholic beverages and fight the urge not to use them.
So what do you mean attend AA meetings if possible? They're everywhere.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The meetings are everywhere, 24/7. You can find a meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I tend to for further help. I plan to attend further meetings to help me fully control the urge.
When's the last time you had a drink?
I ain't had a drink since I've been incarcerated, ma'am.
When's the last time you had a drug test?
It's been a little while since I had one. I ain't
Was
had. I'm sorry.
The last time you had a positive drug screen?
The last time I had a positive drug screen was I got revoked from my probation. That was back in November 2nd or 7th, October 6th, 17, when my probation officer revoked me.
All right. What's your conduct history look like? Your last write-up, when was that?
I ain't had one in the last 2 years. I ain't had one since 19.
Sergeant Kennedy, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Robin?
Yes, ma'am. Ever since he arrived here in April of 2023, he has not had no disciplinary issues, no write-ups. He has completed all of his eligible programs for here at Caldwell. He also completed his sex offender treatment while he was at Bossier before he came here. And he was excellent in all of his programs. And that's coming from the teacher and stuff, all that. And he's actually in line to be a trustee here in the kitchen. He ain't been giving us no trouble at all.
Good to hear. What is your job now, Mr. Robin?
No, currently don't I have trustee status at the moment, ma'am.
So you're waiting for the trustee status. Okay. All right. Anything you want to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I feel that I'm ready to go back to society and be there for my family and my little girl, which is 11 years old now. And I plan to go out, be a productive member of society and live to the best of my knowledge. I already have employment lined up if granted parole. And plan on going home and help my family as much as possible when they need the extra help around their homes.
All right.
And if your full term date, you're gonna get out in September anyway, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so if we parole you right now, we could have certain sanctions or certain requirements on that. Whereas if you get out your full term, then you don't. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Well, it'd almost be worth taking a chance on letting you get out 5 months early to demand that you go to AA programs for me, because I want to make sure that you understand. And I think what may be a communication problem here between you and I, as far as, do you have a substance abuse problem? I think you realize you do, but I'm not certain of that. But I want you to, my vote will be that you are granted parole with the condition that you go to, what's a reasonable number? Week. Three AA programs a week. And that your parole officer monitor those and keep us informed to make sure you go to them. Otherwise, I think that's the only hole that we got on you. And that's it.
Mr. Tillis?
Mr. Robin Towler, how old are you?
I am 33 years old, sir.
Do you remember when you started using drugs?
I was at the age of 16 when I started using drugs.
And how long did you stay on drugs when you were using them?
I stayed using drugs until the time I was incarcerated. But since I have been incarcerated, sir, I've learned, I accept full responsibility of my actions, my past actions, and I have had time to reflect on.
Yeah, he's voted to grant a special condition that we attend 3A community.
I concur.
All right, Mr. Robin, you know, when I looked at your record, you were a definite no, but talking to you, I agree with Mr. Prater. I think that it's important that you be required to tend to your substance abuse problems. So my vote today would be to grant, along with my colleagues, to grant your parole and require as a special condition that you do attend 3 AA meetings per week. And I'd also like to add a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. if there's no objection.
No.
And that you have no contact with the victim in this case. Do you understand those special conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sorry, you've been granted parole, and that's based on for me, it's based on the positive remarks by Sergeant Kennedy. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
That concludes our business there at Caldwell. We're going to sign off at 11:03. Thank you, Sergeant Kennedy.
Yes, ma'am.